welcome to the tea table. I got a sick deck profile for you today. Today we're going to be looking at Kecleon with the Lost Engine to get your opponent with some sweet tricks up your sleeve and basically one-shot anything you want. So we'll talk about the deck real quick and then we'll go through the trainers. Obviously you see some interesting choices that are very Josh Hader-like, if you will. So Kecleon here has the ability Chroma Shift. This Pokemon is the same type as any basic energy attached to it. If it has 2 or more, it has all those types. So you got 3. Typically before this set, you'd put like a twin energy and then whatever type you want it to be, stuff like that. But because of the Lost Engine and Mirage Gate, we get to be multiple types at the same time pretty easily. And the big kicker on this one is the Supereffective Glasses. When applying weakness, 2 damage from the attacks of the Pokemon this card is attached to, done to your opponent's active. So weakness becomes 3. So if you look at it, you're doing 90, but you're doing 270 if you have their weakness. Do remember though, if they have a weakness and resistance, and you're both will be applied. So don't forget that when you are doing your damage. So let's take a look at the deck list and why I made some of the choices I made. So obviously we have that. You got Comfey. If you're playing the Lost Engine like I talked about in a previous video that will be linked at the end, this just fuels your deck because for Mirage Gate you do need 7 cards in the Lost Zone. So Comfey, once your turn if this Pokemon's active, if you look at the top 2, put 1 in your hand and 1 in the Lost Zone. So it just helps fuel the deck. It's a great starter. Obviously, sometimes you're just going to end up with 2 good cards like you're going to put in the Lost Zone, but that is kind of what it is with the deck. You live, you just hope like, oh, but not both Kecleons, you know, that kind of thing. But great starter, and what you want to do in your first couple turns is just do it multiple times. So you got like many trainers to switch in or pick it up or whatever. So you want to do like 2, maybe even 3 if you're lucky, but 2 is good because you pair with the Colress you'll see in a second. We can get going with Cramorant and do all the cool things. So then we'll go to some of the other attackers and talk about Banette at the end here because I really have a special soft spot for Banette if you've been talking to me in DMs and know my thoughts on that card. So you got the Cramorant from Lost Origin. If you have 4 more cards in Lost Zone, it attacks for free. 110, no weakness. Reminders of Hoopa and Zapdos all the way back from Team Up. Obviously, everyone loves this deck. It has its own deck. But it's a great attacker before you get your 7 cards in the Lost Zone. I mean, just does 110. Knocks out of the Cramorants, Comfeys. Pokemon people are going to be more common with now. Sobbles. Even just weakness weakens Vs. In case you can't get like the glasses on your Kecleon, you can still just attack. So then we've got Zigzagoon. Zigzagoon, when you play from your hand, put 1 damage counter on your opponent's Pokemon. So basically, what this is for is if you're facing like Arceus V-Star and you type Kecleon, you're going to do 270 damage, which does not knock it out. So you're going to need the 10 more from Zigzagoon. Pop that on, boom, easy. Damage modifier. And then we got Radiant Hawlucha, 1 V-Star in your deck. Or I'm sorry, 1 Radiant Pokemon in your deck. Its ability is Big Match. As long as this Pokemon is on your bench, your Pokemon does 30 more to your opponent's VMAXs before applying weakness and resistance. So that means against, let's say, Mew VMAX, you have your Super Effective Glasses on your Kecleon, so 90, you got Big Match to make it do 120 times 3 is 360 damage. So that gets around Oricorio, and you don't have to worry about that. So super cool. Definitely the Radiant Pokemon of choice. I know Greninja and Charizard are great, but for what we're trying to do in getting one-shots, definitely want to play Hawlucha. Then we do have a Reshiram, amazing rare, just to have another attacker. Just 270 and 62 itself. I mean, it's probably going to get knocked out anyway. You can trade this out if you like Raikou or Kyogre or even, you know, Zacian, whatever one you want. I wouldn't recommend Rayquaza, though, just because discarding the energy sucks. It's quick 270 out of nowhere, that kind of thing. There is a Choice Belt in the deck, so 300 again to knock out Arceus if you have to, or 330 with Hawlucha to take down Mew. So just the one of attacker I win with, you can definitely pick another one, or just take it out altogether. So then we got a Manaphy, protect your bench, prevent all damage done to your bench Pokemon for your opponent's Pokemon. So you gotta watch out because Palkia is playing canceling Cologne, like cross switcher, so the cross switcher, Manaphy canceling Cologne, attack your bench. I have seen Japanese lists play 2 Manaphy's. I don't know if it's ever going to get that insane here, but, I mean, if you're worried about it, I guess give it a shot. But it is in there to protect the bench. So then we got Banette. So we got the Shuppet, great, pull 1 damage carry opponent's attack. That's crazy. Then we got 2 Banette. I love this card so much, especially if you're playing a Mirage Gate deck. So once per turn, you may put a supporter from discard pile into your hand. If you do, you put this in the Lost Zone. So that's 2 cards because you have Shuppet and Banette. So let's just say turn 1, you go, whatever, we're going. We got Comfey, 1, right? We got a second Comfey. Great. We have Colress. That's 4 cards, right? We attack Cramorant or whatever. They kill Cramorant. You go. You draw. You bring up Comfey. That's 5, right? You Banette. That's 7. And then you Colress, and that's 9. And like turn 2, you got 9 cards in the Lost Zone. Pretty easy. Then it just is also really great. If you remember Versus Seeker, this is one hell of a card, or even like Eldegoss V. I just really like this card. This is just a card I've talked to many people like this. I want this in my deck to help Mirage Gate decks. I mean, I've put in my Giratina list. Excuse me. Really random other Lost Zone decks that aren't important right now. To get just to get it going, and it's not hard to do. Especially in versions where you use Sableye, because you can Fog Crystal for Shuppet, and not, I don't get too much into those decks like I just said, but I think this card is insane in Mirage Gate style decks, and you don't even have to get back Colress. I mean, look at all the supporters we got. You can just get back that too. So that is the Pokemon. I think Banette is great. Let's go to the trainers. We're going to start off with Energy Recycler. Shuffle the 5 basic energy from a discard pile in your deck. So, and we scroll down here, we have 5 different kinds of basic energy. And you're going to want to pack for Kecleon, because Mirage Gate gets 2 different ones you'll see in a second. So, that kind of thing. Just good to have along with Ordinary Rod. You got the 2 Escape Ropes. So it's mostly to help your Comfeys. And while nobody has started to play 2 Empoleon Vs yet, before Peoria, but who knows what they'll do there. 2 is really good, because while it doesn't put Lost Box decks into checkmates, it is just really annoying if they're not going to play Cancel or Pet to the Peak. Anyway, so 2 Escape to switch them out, but mostly to use your Comfey. So you Comfey, Escape Rope Comfey, profit. We do have 1 Evolution Incense. I debated on 1 Ultra Ball, but I don't really want to discard anything. These decks are weird like that. Like, you want your resources, especially with putting some X amount into Lost Zone all the time. And since this list in particular doesn't play VIP Pass, and if you're watching this video, Battle VIP Passes have gone up to $4. And foils, who knows what they're going to cost, as they were recently bought out. So if you're watching this, you haven't picked up your Battle VIP Passes, you should go do that. But yeah, so Ultra Ball just didn't seem good in this one just because of that. Then we got the Hisuian Heavy Ball. Obviously, you got your, Zigzagoon Hawlucha, Reshiram SHF, like any of your Pokemon, realistically. Probably not Comfey. It's like the least important one, but you can still get it if you have it. So you trade it with Pokemon in your prizes, and then they shuffle the prizes. And if not, you just discard it. So it's really gives you information. Great card. Then we got Mirage Gate, the key to the deck. You can only use this card if you have 7 or more cards in the Lost Zone. We just talked about insanely easy it is. Search your deck for up to 2 basic energy cards of different types and attach them to your Pokemon any way you like. Then shuffle your deck. So you do that to power up your Kecleon, or Reshiram, but Kecleon, and then you get that going, and you're attacking for 270, hopefully, and just bopping your opponent. We're hanging from trees and just get them and drawing all the prizes and winnings. We got the 2 Ordinary Rod. Again, it's mostly to give back the energy kind of a thing, but you do get 2 Pokemon as well, so can help if you do have to quick ball away like Zigzagoon and you need it for later, or Kecleon. You got a Kecleon prize, you can't get your Heavy Ball, you need to get them back, etc., etc. But just another way to get back energy. We got the 4 quick ball. Obviously, discard a card, get a basic. So only 3 Scoop Up Net in this one because of all the switch cards I do have. Put a Pokemon that isn't a V back in your hand, I guess, or GX. That doesn't really matter right now. So it just helps use your Comfeys. Turn 1, Comfey, pick up Comfey, retreat the Comfey, attack Cramorant. We're profiting. We're doing really, really great. And 1 switch as well. Just another switch card. It is not switch cart, just because I have Banette. But a cool thing about Banette is, to back for 1 more second, you could do while it's active. So a lot of cards, there's like Electro that was like, knock it out, Surf to 2, like, has to be on the bench. Those kind of things, or like Regidrago has to be active. A cool thing about this card is probably because it is a stage 1, and they're like, wow, this card's better than Electrode, is it can be active. So you can do like a crazy, like pick up your Comfey, so Comfey, Scoop Up Net, bring up Banette, bench Comfey, use Banette, bring up Comfey, do it again, etc., etc. So it does allow for some cool pivot plays. And then we got the 2 training courts here. Obviously, get back to basic energy. Pretty simple there. For the tools, we have an air balloon just to help retreat. We got 1 choice belt just to help the Reshiram and Cramorant to be able to, maybe get some extra damage in there. So if you don't have the glasses, we got the super effective glasses. And we do also have Scroll the Skies. So, Kecleon is a Rapid Strike Pokemon. So my thought on this one is, if their V has 3 energy, right? They're just, like, their Arceus has 3 energy. It's knocked out. Even if their Kyurem V Max, right, has 3 energy, you pop a Zigzagoon, they're knocked down. So I understand, like, super effective glasses, but, like, I need this to knock out a Shadow Rider V Max. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Because I get 3 energy, I'm going to need the super effective and Hawlucha, and I understand it's kind of counterintuitive too. Ooh, super effective glasses, ×3, hell yeah, brother. But I think this card is really cool. I was talking to Goon Squad TCG, and they're like, oh, that's a great idea, and they're smarter than me. So if they think it's good, I know it's good. But it's definitely a cool one to give a shot to. It's just weird to explain. I understand weakness ×3, but it lets less things have to go right for you. Like, oh, prize to Lucha and Zigzagoon, like, I'm dead. But if you have Arceus, boom, you do that kind of thing, so you don't have to worry with the Zigzagoon. It's a card I like, easily could drop it, but I would say, if you're going to try this deck, give it a shot. So then we go to the supporters. We got the 2 bosses that are obviously bring up one of their Pokemon. We got 4 Colress Experiment, look at top 5, take 3, put 2 in the Lost Zone, power you up. Raihan, your Pokemon are getting knocked out left and right, so it just helps you power up Kecleon, so then you search for Mirage Gate, etc. So we have Caitlin. Oddly enough, in Mirage Gate decks, I have loved Caitlin for the fact that I can put my energy on the bottom for Mirage Gate. So, sometimes, like, less people are playing Marnie. If you're playing, like, a mirror-ish, like Lost Zone, you're not really going to play a lot of Marnie cards, like maybe Roxanne. But until you get that far in the game, you're both just like, wow, look at my insane hand. So you can draw an energy and not want to. I've had a couple times like, all right, I know I got, 2 metals in my deck, but I need another energy. I'll just Caitlin, like, 2 energy to the bottom or any useless card, and then draw, and then Mirage Gate and get them. So this is also a card I really like in Lost Zone decks, mostly just the Mirage Gate ones, because it does help you, because most of these decks don't have a ton of energy in them, and it can get awkward if they're in your hand and, like, you don't really have any in the discard pile for Recycler, Ordinary Rod, or Training Court even, or whatever, and you could just Caitlin 4 or 5 cards at the bottom. You get a fresh hand, keep the good cards, and then you can Mirage Gate. So that is a card I love so much. I might have picked up an amount of physical ones to prepare, but again, that's just my opinion on it. And then for the energy, we got 2 dark fighting fire, lightning, metal. So dark, fire, lightning, obviously for Reshiram, but we got dark for Mew, Shadow Rider, fighting for Arceus. We got fire. You're just facing a random Lilligant deck or something, whatever. Lightning for Palkia, and metal for Kyurem mostly. Obviously, if your meta is different, or if you're playing this, I try, like, I'm going to play a bunch and 1 of each. So, like, if you dropped the Reshiram, if you don't have to worry about fire, you could play 1 fire, 1 psychic. Like, if you're like, oh, Urshifu VMAX is really popular in my area, alright, I'm putting in psychics. Those kind of things. So, obviously, this is, 3 of the energy are mostly because of Reshiram, but also they're good ones. So, these are ones I thought were the best, right now, because, like, who cares what your deck is against Lost Zone, because whatever, right? So, like, you can put in a water energy for Charizard, like Radiant Charizard if you want, like if you don't have Reshiram, that kind of thing. You could also just make that a Radiant Charizard, right? If you, like, took out Hawlucha and you're like, oh, I don't really need, like, Mew isn't popular in my meta or whatever, you drop that. But a lot of things you could do. But I do think Hawlucha, in my opinion, is the best one for what you're trying to do. So with that being said, I want to thank everyone for watching this quick, it's turned out to be 15 minutes, video on Kecleon. Play this online in limits on Saturday. Play this at your locals. Practice for regionals. It is actually on top 3 for my regionals testing list. So if you want to talk about the deck, please just DM me on Twitter at Josh Hatter. Drop a like. Leave a comment what you think. You guys are doing great. This channel is doing better than I ever thought it would ever do. And I really want to appreciate all of you because these wacky videos are nothing without you guys. So thank you very much. And I will see you next time on the tea table.